Hello and welcome back to Novels with Nora. I am filming this portion of the video, which is actually going to be the first part that you see at the very end. So everything that you're going to see, I've already experienced. So this vlog, because it is a vlog, is for Indie Bookstore Day. Woo! But it's actually Indie Bookstore weekend for me because I have a whole weekend of bookish events for you. So Saturday, which is Indie Bookstore Day, April 26th, I go to 4 bookstores, 2 that I've never been to before, and I take you around with me. And then Sunday, the 27th, which is today for me, I went to an adult book fair. So like for adults that miss the book fair, they have like different like bookish vendors there. So that was super fun. You'll get to see that as well. So I am coming at you now to just kind of like walk you through what happens because this was my first time filming like out in public and I picked a crazy day to do so. Because it's Indie Bookstore Day, these bookstores were like packed, so actually filming in them was quite hard. So I'm kind of coming in to just like stitch everything together to make it make sense for you. Starting on Saturday, this adventure was participated in by me, my mom, and my brother. Originally, we had seen the whole map that was made for Indie Bookstore Day in Northeast Ohio, and there were so many bookstores that we knew we cannot get to all of these. So what they did was they made this like little passport, which I feel like this is actually quite common for Indie Bookstore Days if you live in like a bigger-ish city. So each store is listed and then you get a stamp for going there. And once you get 10 stamps, the store that you get the 10th stamp at gives you 20% off your whole purchase. So there's 18 on this list. We went to 4, but you only need to go to 10 to get the stamp. And luckily this goes from the 26th of April through the 31st of May. So you actually have plenty of time to get to all of these stores because you cannot get to all 18 in one weekend. That would simply be exhausting and you wouldn't have enough time to actually look at all of them. My brother and I had sat down. We had originally made a plan of going to 3 stores that we had not gone to before or like in a while and we're super excited to go to. However, when I was looking at the map, I realized one was like right around the corner from another. So we ended up going to 4. Super exciting. We were very excited. It was like, this was my Super Bowl. I was so ready. I had my outfit planned. I did my makeup, which is not something I ever really do, but I was so excited. Also, I had made a list of books that I was looking for and I posted on my Instagram. So you should go follow me on Instagram if you want to see things like that early and before my videos. But I posted a graphic of books I was looking for on Indie Bookstore Day because I knew that if I didn't have like some kind of list, literally anything that caught my attention, I was going to be purchasing. And like we were trying to stick to somewhat of a budget, you know? So I had that list and I was ready to go. Apple Tree Books. And this is one that none of us had ever gone to before and we were super excited. This was our first stop. And let me just say, it was a wonderful first stop because, again, we had never been there before and they had like a lot going on for the day. A lot of the stores had like some kind of event or celebration happening in the store. So Apple Tree had 20% off everything. They had 2 authors doing signings and they had like little like, cookies and snacks and things. So we walked in and this bookstore was really fun because the way it was set up, it was just like decorated really nice. I'll put in the clips here so that you can see what we actually did there. So like I was saying, it was decorated super nice and like it was just a lot of fun to look at while also browsing the books. And as far as I'm aware, they had all new books. So we walked in and this bookstore is just absolutely stunning. Like I can't say enough like how beautiful it was in there. So they had like one section that had like more of like their nonfiction area and then it was like the children's section in the back and then they had some refreshments and then you go up some stairs and then they had like the fiction section. So like general fiction and then fantasy, sci-fi. They had a whole classics section. It was a really nice bookstore. However, I will say for being a bookstore, I feel like they didn't have like that many books, but the books they did have were like really nice and like really good, like new releases. Like I don't want to say high quality books because all books to me are high quality, but like because they're all new books, there wasn't like a whole giant section of like used James Patterson novels is what I'm trying to say. So had a great time there. And then while we were checking out, I saw a sign by the register that said, check out our basement, like we have a vintage store. And I was like, oh, a vintage store, wonderful. So I said, where are the stairs to the basement? Because we hadn't seen those. Well, they were like behind the one cash register. So we go down there. It was the freakiest little thing. I would not call that a vintage store. It was like they had just like some leftover like old Christmas decor and they were like, oh, we'll call this a vintage store and then just like slap some price stickers on there. So that was really interesting. But that was a really great first stop because as you'll see, I got some books, my brother got some books, my mom got a book, and she actually got a book from one of the authors that was doing a signing there. So that was super exciting. So that was our first stop and it was super exciting. Again, we had never been there before, so it was really fun to go there. And now I will put in some pictures that I took while I was there because I took pictures and some videos. So here are my pictures. And then after that, we went to Max Bax, which we have been to before because it's right next to one of our favorite restaurants. It just, we weren't originally planning on going here because it's super small and we've been there, but it was like right around the corner. It was super close. So this is like one of the smallest bookstores. I think it is the smallest one that we went to, but it's also just small in general. And they had like so much happening. They had live music, they had a face painter outside, they had an author, they had button making. They had a lot happening, and it's a very small store, and there were so many people in there, like more than I'd ever seen before, which is super exciting because we love to see our local indies being supported in this way. But because it's such a small store, it was just very overwhelming to be in there. So I don't know that I got any footage, like actual video content, but I did get some pictures. I'll put those in. I think it might just be the one. But here, again, it was very overwhelming because they had the live music, there were so many people who were working, they were like yelling about like the different sales they were having, so it was just very overwhelming. And so I did not end up getting anything here, mainly because I was too overwhelmed to actually look. And like you'll hear me mention several times throughout this video, I had just put a whole bunch of holds on books through my library, and so I kept seeing these books and like getting super excited, and I was like, I just put a hold on it, so I'm just gonna wait till that hold comes in and then see if I want to purchase it after that. So that was kind of the case here, except in the basement they had a whole like women's history and like LGBTQ section, and I found a book by Andrea Dork in there, and I didn't end up getting it, and I do regret that. However, we had a great time there. My mom ended up getting a book, so we also got our passport stamped there. And I don't think I mentioned, but you didn't have to buy a book at these places to get a stamp. You just had to go in and get the stamp. So that was our second stop, and while my brother and I didn't get anything, my mom did, it was still like a super fun time. Also, it just is so wonderful to see your bookstore so full and like brimming with people, and people like having so much fun in their stores. So that was our second stop. Coming at you from the parking garage. All these clips are going to be incredibly shaky because I have shaky hands, but it is what it is. We just left our second bookstore. I didn't get anything there, but it's probably one of the smallest stores we're going to today, and it was packed, which we love to see, but it made it very hard to get around in there. But leaving here and headed to the next location. And then after that, we drove farther away to Fireside Bookshop, which is one that I remember going to and remember like really loving, but I couldn't remember like anything else about it other than I enjoyed it, and they gave me a bookmark, and I ran that bookmark into the ground until it like disintegrated in my book. So that was our third stop, and I had so much fun here. I remember why I loved it so much. They have both new and used books, and it was just so much fun in there. It was one of the emptier bookstores, so it was a lot easier to move around. And Fireside sells like, they have new and used, and then they also have like puzzles and stationery and games and like a whole bunch of different stuff. And they have like the main floor and then like the upstairs, and I do think I got some clips, so I'll put those in. If I didn't get any actual video, here's some pictures. Yeah, I had a lot of fun at this bookstore because the sections that they have are not super big. Obviously, the romance section was huge. Everything else was like a little bit smaller, but I found one of the books that I was looking for. So there's a haul at the end of the video for you to see, but this is just kind of putting things together. So I had a lot of fun here. I was the only one who got something, but they were having 25% off one book, and I only got one book, so that worked out really well for me. And that just is such a fun store to be at because it's like just so cozy. They have like a fireplace, and they had like little chairs and like puzzles you could do. They had a bookmark making station. So that was just like a very cozy experience, again, because it had like the least amount of people. It was super easy to walk around and see everything, which was really enjoyable. So that was our third stop, and then after that we stopped at a little grocery store to get a little sweet treat to keep us going throughout the day, because we left our house around like 1 o'clock, and at this point it was like 4:30, 5:30-ish, and we were flagging, you know, our energy was waning and we needed a little pick-me-up. So we got a little sweet treat, and we headed another 30 minutes away to the Learned Owl bookshop. And this one is, again, one that we had never been to before, so we didn't really know what to expect. And we were contemplating whether or not we even wanted to go to this one, or just if we wanted to cut the trip short right then. And part of that reason being that at this point it was like 4:30-ish, and we had like a 30-minute drive, and we had like a 30-minute drive to get there, and they closed, we thought, at 6. Turns out, for Indie Bookstore Day, they were open longer, so we did not need to rush, but that's why we were considering not going. But we did end up going because we were like, we're out, we're having fun, let's just do it. And I'm really glad we did. No one ended up getting anything here, but we still had a lot of fun because, again, we'd never been here before, and this location has all new books. They have a like sister location, the Thrifty Owl, which has used, but we went to the Learned Owl, which only has new. But they had like, again, a really great selection. But again, I had the issue of there's a lot of things that I really would love to get, but I just put a hold on it through the library. And I know I got a lot of clips here because we were the only people there. And it was like, we were in the basement, and I was the only one in the basement for a little while. So I'll roll clips now. I'm in the bookstore. We're in the basement. It's cold down here. I forgot to update after the last store. We went to one more that you didn't see, and I got one book. And it'll be a surprise for later. And now we're at our fourth and final stop, and then we're beginning dinner. But they have a pretty good selection here. It's kind of like a weird, small, weirdly set up store, but they have like a decent selection. So I will be looking around, and then I will update you maybe before we eat, but probably once I get home because I'm starting to get tired. My feet hurt, I'm tired, I'm hungry, but this is our last stop, so we're gonna make it count. Okay. Has anyone read this, Metal from Heaven by August Clark? I feel like this is like an author that's local to me, and I keep seeing this book, but I've never heard anyone actually reading it. So curious. Have you read it? Did you like it? Should I get it? I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm filming a lot here because we're in the basement. It's just me and my brother down here. But I keep seeing books that I want. Like this is Eat the Ones You Love by Sarah Marie Griffin. However, I just put a hold on this through my library, and it's like I don't want to buy it and still have the hold come in. So, like at the last bookstore we were at that I didn't show you, they had Victorian Psycho, and I think they have it here too. But I just put a hold on it, and my hold just came in. So I'm not gonna buy it because my hold came in. But then what happens if I love it and then I don't have it? This is the struggle. Okay, so I'm gonna leave this for someone else. But also look at this cover, stunning, stunning. Also, I just found these two books here. I pulled this one out first. It's got these like two girlies and this cat, and it says a story of love and respect that endures beyond death, and of dragons, because we all love a dragon. And it's got these two girlies. And then there's another one by the same author, The Fireborn Blade. It's got this girly and a dragon. So yeah. A knight, squire, and a dragon adventure like none you've ever read. Well, my library will see me coming with those. So I had a lot of fun at this bookstore, and I got my passport stamped, which is our 4th stop of the day. And I will say, at all 4 of these locations, I asked if they had the book Pink Pilled by Lois Shearing, because I want to read this book so bad, and I just cannot seem to find a copy anywhere. And at all 4 locations, I asked if they had a copy, and none of them did. They were all very nice. They were like, oh, like, we can order it for you. And I was like, I would absolutely love for you to do that, but like, especially the last 2 stores, they were like far away, and I was like, I'm not gonna drive back out there to get this book. So I'm just gonna have to order that online through a different indie I would love to do. But yeah, none of them had it, which is a little disappointing, but also it's kind of like a niche nonfiction book, so I wasn't surprised. But all of the booksellers I talked to were just like so lovely and seemed so genuinely happy to be seeing their bookstore so full. And like every time I would ask like, oh, do you have it? And then say no, like, but we can order it. And I was like, oh no, thank you. They would tell me like, oh, but you might find something similar that you might also like in this section. And I love talking to booksellers and like getting recommendations and just talking about books with people who also love books. So I think this day was just like really so special for me. So that was our last stop, and then we ended up going to dinner, and it was absolutely delicious. I got buffalo mac and cheese. Yeah, it was really good. And then we came home. At this point, it was like 8:30. It was a very long day, and I was exhausted, but I had so much fun. I have returned home for the evening. We managed to get 4 bookstores of the 18 on our Northeast Ohio Indie Bookstore Day, Indie Bookstore Passport. And tomorrow, we are going to an adult book fair event, and I will take you along for that because we're having a whole bookish weekend. But today we went to 4 bookstores, and then we went for dinner. Did not film at dinner because, right? But tomorrow I will take you with me to that event, and then I think we might be going to 1 or 2 more bookstores tomorrow. We will have to see. But I am exhausted. I am ready to go to sleep. I'm very happy with the books that I got. I will do like a full haul of what I got today and what I'm going to get tomorrow, hopefully, tomorrow. So you will see that. But for now, we've made it through 4 bookstores. I'm exhausted, and I'm ready for bed. But I will see you tomorrow morning for that event and whatever may come after. After that, we crashed, truly. And then we woke up the next morning, which was for me this morning, and we had another event to go to because there was an adult book fair, which sounds a little sketchy, but it's more just like if you miss like the vibes of the book fair, this event is for you, because they had 2 bookstores there selling like a selection of books, and then also like a whole bunch of different like small businesses that sell like book related items. They were also there. This was in a location that I had never been to before, but they host a lot of different events there, so I was really excited to finally like be going to one, because I feel like especially with something like that where you're not sure like what the parking situation is, what the actual venue situation is. Once you go once, then you're like more confident to go again. So I was super excited for this. They said they had 25 plus vendors, different like bookstores were going to be there selling. They had like book themed drinks. They had a photo op with the Hungry Caterpillar. I'll put my picture in here. So it was like a super fun event. Again, they had like 25 plus vendors selling like bookish merch and like art and like different things. So I only got a little clip being there because it was packed. So I'll put that in now. This event was super fun, and like this venue is really fun for events because it's a bowling alley. And so I'm not sure how they do it, because like you can kind of see in that little clip that I took, we were on like the lanes, but they weren't slippery. So I'm not really sure what was going on there, but it was like super fun venue, and I had a really great time there. And there were so many small bookish businesses that I didn't even realize were like local to me, but were like so amazing. So I got so many business cards, and like so many people have been followed on Instagram, and I will link as many as I can find or remember in the description. So if you want to shop them as well, you can. And I did get some things. You'll see the haul in a second here. And I just had so much fun. The vibes were immaculate. They were playing amazing music. We were like, everyone was complimenting each other's outfits. I have little like Calico Critter keychains in my bag that they were getting complimented. I was complimenting other people's keychains. Like we were all like helping each other like find things. It was just such an amazing experience being around so many other people that also love books in the same way that I do. Really, really just a wonderful experience all around. So that was our weekend, and I will let past me, I guess, take it over from here and give you the haul and also end the video. So hello, I have officially done all of my independent bookstore day / weekend shopping. So I thought it would be fun to give you a little haul because you deserve one after watching me through this weekend. So I'm going to start in chronological order of like where we started and then where we ended. So first we went to Apple Tree Books, and this was our first stop. So I feel like everyone was feeling like, yes, independent bookstore, we're going to support the bookstore, buy all the books. And now going in, I had a list, as you know, of the books I wanted to get, and this store, they had my books. So first and foremost, they had a little like basket of free pins. So of course I took some. So we have this one that says, oh, they're very reflective. Okay. Books, not bombs. And then this one that just says read. And then this one that says book lover in this cutie little heart. So those are the free pins that I got. And then pretty much all of the bookstores we went to had little sections where they were giving away their ARCs for free, just like limit of how many per patron. So I picked up Herculine, is how I've decided to pronounce it, by Grace Byron. And this is one of those things where it's like, it's a book that I'd added to my want to read on Goodreads. And then as soon as I was like, okay, that sounds really good, click add to read, completely forgot about it. But then I saw it, I was like, oh, I definitely want to read this. So this says, Manhunt meets Lord of the Flies in this blistering horror debut following a young trans woman after she arrives at the all-trans girl commune founded by her toxic ex-girlfriend, only to discover that demons, both literal and figurative, haunt her fellow comrades, and she's their next prey. Which sounds fantastic. Also, look at this cover. Yeah, wonderful. I also just love reading debut novels, specifically like horror debuts, and this sounds like so fantastic. So I'm really excited about this, and the fact that it was free. Also, I love when bookstores and libraries give away their ARCs for free because you can't resell them, and so either you just like hold on to them or recycle them or like put them in a little free library. So like having a space in the bookstore to give away ARCs is really fantastic, especially because booksellers get a lot of ARCs to decide if they want to carry books. So I loved seeing this there. And then for the actual books that I bought, the first thing I saw when I walked in was Green Teeth by Molly O'Neill, because again, I had heard, oh, I got 2 bookmarks. I had heard about this one, and then I saw it come out. I don't remember where it was, but it was a chain bookstore, and I saw it and I was like, oh, like it sounds interesting and like something I'd want to read, but I don't know if that I necessarily want to buy it. And then I saw it there and I read the little description, which is, from a charming new voice and cozy fantasy comes a tale of fae, folklore, and found family that is just as delightful and warm-hearted as the charismatic lake-dwelling monster who tells it. And I said, yeah, I'm gonna give this one a go. Also, pretty much all of the bookstores we went to were having some kind of sale, so this one I believe was having 20% off everything. So I said, I'm gonna pick it up. Also, I love supporting debut authors and independent bookstores. So this was like the perfect purchase for me. And it sounds like it might be sapphic because a witch gets thrown into the lake that this like swamp monster haunts. So, and they're both girls. So I feel like either there's going to be like a good female friendship or something more, you know? So really actually quite, also just like look how stunning this is. Yeah, so really excited about that one. And then finally, the first book I got that was actually on the list of books I was looking for is Some Desperate Glory by Emily Tesh. This I saw and I picked it up and I read the description, which is about this girl who has, it says, she has, since she was born, she is trained for the day she can avenge the murder of planet Earth. She was raised on a, like, planetary station. She's one of the best warriors of her generation, the sword of a dead planet. But then the command people assign her brother to certain death and relegate her to nursery to bear sons until she dies trying. She knows she must take humanity's revenge into her own hands. Alongside her brother's brilliant but seditious friend and a lonely captive alien, Kier escapes from everything she's known into a universe far more complicated than she could have imagined. So I picked it up and I was like, I don't know if I should get it. Like, you know, it sounds like something I would enjoy, but not necessarily that I want to spend the money on right now, because I had a budget. Okay, let's keep that in mind. I did have a budget. My brother was like, it's literally on your list and they're having a sale. So I went ahead and I picked this one up too, because how could I not? So those are the 3 books that I got from our first stop. Only paid for 2 of them though, because we love free anything. So these are the 3 I got at our first stop. So then after Apple Tree, we went to Max Backs, but I did not get anything there. I do regret not getting something. In the basement, in like the women's nonfiction section, they had, like, women's history section, they had a book by Andrea Dworkin, which I'll put a picture of it. When I was in undergrad, I cited her papers several times in works that, like, papers I was writing, and I didn't know that she had written, like, a book. So I regret not picking that one up, but I will get it at some point. I might even go back to get it, because how could I not, you know? So didn't get anything there. My mom did get something there. And then after that, we went to Fireside Bookshop, and I did get one thing also from my list, This Ravenous Fate by Haley Dennings. This is like set in 1920s Harlem with like sapphic vampires. And I'm gonna be real with you, that's all I needed to know. That is all I needed to know about this one. And I'm so happy to have this, because I have wanted to read this for quite a while, honestly. I just could never actually find a copy of it, and they had 2 copies there, so had to pick this one up. And also, they were doing, Fireside was doing 25% off of 1 book, and I only got 1 book there, so this is originally $18.99, and I got it for like $15. So that was super exciting. We love a deal. No one else got anything there. And then after that, we went to the Learned Owl bookshop. Didn't end up getting anything, mainly because I felt like I really like to think about the purchases I'm making before I make them, you know? And they weren't having a sale there. So I would have been paying full list price for all of these books. And there was like a lot that I wanted to pick up, but because I thought they were closing at 6, I felt rushed. And I didn't want to make any like rash decisions and pick things up just because I was there. And also a lot of the stuff that I wanted were things that I had put a hold on through my library, and like I'm like first in line, the books are on their way to me currently, so I was like, I don't want to buy them and then have the hold come in and then end up with like, you know. So I didn't end up getting anything there, and evidently they were open longer than 6. I guess for Independent Bookstore Day they were open longer than like their normal hours, so we could have stayed longer, but we didn't. So those were our bookstore adventures. No one got anything there, but I really liked that bookstore. It was really wonderful. So then that was yesterday, and we were out from like, we left the house around like 1, and we didn't get back till like 8:30. So we had a long day, and then we went to dinner after, and it was absolutely delicious. Really enjoyed our dinner. And then today was that book event that I had told you about, and I did get some things. So I had in my head an idea of the things I wanted to buy. I wanted to get a blind date with a book, at least one, because I was hoping to find some at the bookstores yesterday, and I didn't see any. I think they might have sold out. So I was looking for that. I always just love finding like new bookish businesses. And then also I'm looking for bookends for my bookshelves, but I really want them to be like pretty so that it's not just like, oh, here's a bookend, you know? So I was looking for that, and then also just like any other little things that I found. And let me tell you, did I find some things. So they had like 3 rooms set up with different vendors, and I had the time of my life. And I could tell that a lot of people were, because one booth had already completely sold out of her blind dates with the book. So that was really, like, it was just really exciting. Like, obviously a little disappointing because I would have loved to get some from her. However, super exciting because we got there around like 1:30-ish, and they had just opened at 12. So clearly a lot of people in our community were like really excited for this, which is super exciting. So we were just having a great time. And it's also just always super exciting to see different like local small businesses doing really well and being able to support them. So I did get some things. So in the first room we went into, there was a woman selling her art prints, and I got several things from her. So first I got some like just regular prints. I got this one that's a little frog, and he's just like so bulbous. I love him. And then I got this one with these flowers. I'm not sure what like actual flowers are supposed to be, but this one especially kind of looks like a chrysanthemum, which is my birth flower. So I just thought that this was, it's also, I love the red ink. A lot of times when you see prints done in this style, they are just black ink. but I love that this one was in color, like the frog. They were both color, and this is so pretty. And then as I was like actively handing her my card, I saw something else sitting on the table. I said, and I'll take that too. And that was this little framed seagull print. Like, this is just so cute. I love this so much. It's already framed. I can it has the stand and a little hook so I can hang it. And I just thought that this was so cutie. So that's what I got from her, and absolutely love that. I will also put links to all of the artists that I mention in the description, so you can shop from them as well, because she has a great online website, and I will probably be buying more from her. When I got home, I was looking through her website because genuinely all the prints that she had there, I was like, I would buy one of each of these. So I went on her website and I was like, oh, I can feel my wallet calling out to me, being like, don't do it, don't do it. I'm gonna do it because I love all of her art. So after that, we went into like the big room, which was like actually like on the bowling alley, which was super cool. And I did get some more things. You could like tell what the popular booths were because people were like swarming, and I did get some things from one of those popular booths. So I did end up getting some blind dates with a book. She had like every single genre that you could imagine. She had it there. So the first one I got was this, which, how beautiful with this like wrapping and the bow, and she does it so that there's like pockets in here. And this says, fantasy. She has come to subjugate humanity, obliterating any who stand in her way. And I said, yeah, that sounds like something for me. So this was the first one that I picked up, and it comes with like, she has like her little card in here and then some stickers. And then as I handed it to her to check out, she handed it to a woman sitting behind her, who then put in a highlighter, this little like card here with it's a reading log with like tabs and a highlighter. So that was super exciting. So I got that one. And then I also got this one, which is horror, because I have never seen horror blind date with the books. A lot of times they're like romance or like just like contemporary novels, because like they're the most, it's the genre with like the most like broad appeal, I feel like. So this, I was super excited to see horror, and she had like quite a few of them. And this one said mysterious disease, supernatural threat, demonization. So I was really curious about that. And then again, when she handed this one to me, it has a reading log again with a green highlighter, or green tabs, green highlighter, and then stickers, and then the magnetic bookmark like the other one has. So I'm really excited about these. I'm thinking that I am going to do a video specifically for these. So like opening them up and seeing what's in here and then reading them. I'm hoping that they're not books that I've already read or that I already have, but I don't think that they are. And then the only other thing that I got is this sticker that's an orange disco ball. My mom bought this for me. I love disco balls, and orange is one of my favorite colors, so had to get that. And it's just really pretty. I'm running out of room on my computer for stickers, but had to get that. And then I just have business cards from like all of the places that I liked what they had. So that is my haul, everything I got this independent bookstore weekend. And I hope that you enjoyed coming with me and seeing some of the independent bookstores in my area. I really had a wonderful time this week. Oh, can't believe I forgot to mention, I also got this I love my indie bookstore sticker, because obviously. So this was just such a fun weekend to do all of these like bookish activities, and just to see some more of like the bookstores in my area and the different like small businesses in my area that are selling bookish stuff. So I really had a great time. And also 2 of the 4 bookstores that we went to are ones that I have never been to before, so that was super fun. And the passport that I showed earlier is good until the end of next month, so the end of May. So there's 18 bookstores on there. You only have to get 10, and then you get 20% off at the 10th store that you get stamped. So I have a whole month to check out some new bookstores, which is super exciting. So I will probably be doing that, because the original plan was to go to another bookstore today after this event, but they're closed on Sunday, so we couldn't, but we still had a wonderful time. So hopefully we'll be checking more off on that passport and going to see a lot of more bookstores. So thank you for being here with me this weekend. I hope that you had a wonderful independent bookstore day and supported your local indies. And if you did, I would love to hear what books you got. Maybe there's some things I'd be interested in. If you've read any of the books that I got, I would love to hear your thoughts on them. And otherwise, I will see you in my next video. And I think that I might give you a little sneak peek of what that might be. I think it's going to be a video opening these up and seeing what we get, and then reading them and seeing if the blind date with a book experiment works for me. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, stick around, because that will be coming out soon. So again, thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.